Hello.
Hey, reconnected woman.
We are matching today. This is the
Yes,
second time that
didn't plan this.
we're both wearing like a lavender color and we jumped on and we're like, ah! I love this. Anyway, we
When
were
did
just
you?
chatting about my uh postpartum prep and breastfeeding and seeing a lactation consultant, which I highly recommend seeing a lactation consultant before having bub. And because breastfeeding is actually not supposed to hurt.
Yeah, that's
So,
amazing. I can't believe that when I heard you say that the other day. I was like, what?
yeah, it's crazy, right? Because we hear it so often. We hear that, um, I guess it's with everything with women. Oh, you've got painful periods. Oh, that's just the way it is. Oh, actually, no, it's not normal, even though it's common. So, yeah, it was really empowering to have that conversation and to get some really good tips from her on how to position bub and what a good latch feels like, what a bad latch feels like, and how to avoid pain because breastfeeding is never meant to be painful. And if it is
Yeah.
painful, then it means that there is like a latching issue. So, yeah, I'm feeling so confident now breastfeeding because I think that was the one thing after all the research that I've done that I was like, okay, I have the baby and how do I feed it?
Because I think so many women actually imagine breastfeeding as this really beautiful experience. I know that that's something I have, and I've dreamt about it even, like breastfeeding being so nice. And then when you hear other people going, "Oh, it's so painful," no, I just couldn't do it. I'm like, "Oh, that's not what I imagined." Like, so what type of tips did she give you in regards to like avoiding pain?
She gave me some positioning like techniques, and
Yep.
then the most important thing is she actually got me to it was an online call, so I whipped my boob out um on camera. Love that. And she got me to actually pinch my nipple and it felt really uncomfortable, and she's like, that's what a bad latch feels like. So if bub is on the nipple, then it's going to be painful, and that's a sign that things aren't right.
Yeah.
And so then she got me to feel what a good latch feels like. And I think just that knowledge alone,
Yeah.
even if you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what to do from here, but just knowing, okay, this feels like a bad latch, this feels like a good latch, or, this is painful. I mean, just in the fact that she's like, if it's painful, then it's a bad latch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she gave me some really good tips with that. And I get access to her during hospital as well, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
If I have any issues at all, to just message her and send a video and she can give us tips, which honestly just makes me feel so good because I just hear so many women like, you're postpartum, you're in hospital trying to figure everything else out. You're trying to feed this poor baby that's like starving and you're in pain and you feel stressed. And I
Yeah.
just don't want that experience. And
Yeah.
so I just really wanted to like get the knowledge and get the help before there's an issue. So,
Yeah.
which I think is just really important because it's just knowledge, right? And we
Knowledge
think
is
that um yes, breastfeeding is so natural, but doesn't always come naturally to us.
yeah.
So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
exciting. And what
Yeah.
types of have you got a vision for your postpartum experience? Like, have you got some things in place that you'd like to your postpartum experience to be like? I'm just curious.
I haven't really thought that much about it. I mean, I've done all the meal prepping, so that
Yeah.
was another thing that I was really aware of because all of the research that I've done and the people that I follow, we prepare so much for the birth, but then we don't do any preparation for the postpartum.
Yeah.
And I think the postpartum period is so, so important. Um,
And
so
also a
yeah, I
time, oh sorry, a time like one of the things I always thought that postpartum, obviously you have to take it easy initially because your body's just gone through something huge. But I heard something recently where actually nurturing yourself for a long period of time, like weeks if you need to, is like so beneficial for your body to heal and recover. And um, yeah, I think some of us put pressure on ourselves to go, right, okay, I want to get out, I want to go walking, I want to move my body again. But I've got this idea in my head now of a new approach of, hey, maybe just really resting and nurturing and is like the way. So I just wondered if you had sort of thought of that.
Yeah,
Um,
so I just want to rest. I mean, I've read the book, The First 40 Days, which is all about the postpartum period, and the postpartum period being the first 40 days, which
yeah,
comes up to be about 6 weeks, and how important those first 6 weeks are for recovery.
yeah,
And they even say, the 5 day rule. So 5 days in bed, 5 days next to the bed, and 5 days around the bed.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, they really put an importance into how rest can really impact the rest of, like, they say even like up to menopause can, like, your postpartum period can even impact that, because
oh,
you've got to
wow.
allow your body to recuperate, and the hormones and your blood and everything needs
Yeah,
to refresh. And um yeah, and I mean, like, the experience that women go through in birth is, it's major. And if it was any other kind of surgery or whatever, we would be on bed rest. But then for some reason, when it comes to pregnancy and postpartum, it's like, oh no, we want to get back into shape, and we've got to like look a certain way and go to the gym. And I just don't agree with that.
yeah,
So that's why, like, yeah, doing the meal prep was something that was really important for me, so that we didn't have to cook for the first couple of weeks. And I know we'll probably get meals from family as well, but yeah, just even being able to do that, and
yeah,
just being like, okay, we can just pull something out of the freezer and just chill out, and just enjoy this time, because I know Bob will
yeah,
also grow really fast. So
yeah.
yeah, just
I
chilling
feel
out. That's what it's, that's my plan.
I feel like
Netflix.
you're this wealth of knowledge, and I'm going to be like coming to you going, I need every book that you read and give me your advice. You're just going through all this. I can't, yeah. And I feel like we're so aligned with the same sort of values. And yeah, so I can't wait to learn from you and see how your experience goes.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. And I think there's definitely a shift even now with, like, how women are seeing postpartum and how men are seeing postpartum. I've actually seen a lot of reels pop up of dads
Really?
talking about postpartum and how to support their partners through it. And even there's this one guy, I think he's European, and he talks about like the whole process and the placenta, um and how it leaves a wound the size of a dinner plate, which is like
I've heard that.
major.
Yeah.
And he said, any other surgery, any other kind of wound would be a severe wound, but for some reason we just kind of pass it off and just be like, oh yeah, just because women do this every day doesn't mean like it's a major event. It's one of the biggest things that we will ever do in our life. So yeah, it's really cool to see a bit of a shift
That's
happening,
awesome.
especially with men as well, starting to see how, like, incredible birth is, and how incredible the female body is. So yeah.
But isn't it? It's almost like one of those things that with women, like, periods or whatever, it's almost like dulled down. Like it's always been like, oh yeah, it is, deal with it, deal with it. That's how you're made, that's what you're meant to do. When they are still pretty full on experiences and our bodies are going through a lot no matter what it is. And we shouldn't dismiss what we're going through,
Mm-hmm.
especially birth
Mm-hmm.
and the healing process afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway,
So
that's not what we're
cool.
here to talk about today.
No, but it was cool. I want to hear all about it. Um, we were actually having a conversation the other day about life finding your life path and purpose, and how, especially if you feel called from a young age, that you're here for a reason or a big reason. Like, I know in myself from a really young age, like as a child, I was like, I'm here to do something and I'm here to voice something, and I feel like it's going to be pretty big, and I feel like I've got to put it myself out there, and I wasn't really sure how it was all going to go, but I think, and I still have this desire every day to, when I wake up, I'm like, right, what am I doing that's contributing and going towards my purpose? Because I just don't feel like I'm someone that's just here to sit back and live my life without it being impactful for others. I don't know. Do you have something similar?
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think like when it was that I felt like that I was here for a reason. I think I've always, yeah, also known that I have this big purpose and that I'm here for a reason. Um, but then of course, you get caught up in everybody else in society and what they say you
Yeah.
should do and all that kind of stuff, right? And we've already spoken about our own journeys and those epiphanies that we've had. Um, but I find what is the most challenging thing is that and I know that I've like thought this myself, is like when you do start to have like a bit of an idea of, oh, maybe like this is the thing that I'm supposed to do. We think that the path that we are going down is going to be linear and be like, right, this is where I'm going, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's just not like that at all.
No.
It is a roller coaster. There are ups and downs. Um, and I know that I have had so many moments in the past 5-ish years, if not maybe a bit longer, where I felt like this is the thing, right? This is it. Yep, this is my purpose. This feels right. And I actually come to the realization that I was still kidding myself how conditioned I was with what success looked like
Yeah.
um and all of that. So yeah, it's it's a roller coaster of a journey finding your own path.
But I actually feel like no venture is wasted. I really believe that. And there's been times where I've been so hard on myself by choosing a direction, and I'll go there and go, oh, this wasn't right. Oh my gosh, what a waste of time, because I feel less time pressure to be on the right path. And then I realize later as you get further down, oh, but that redirection or that little path that I took for a short period of time actually learned something from that, and that redirected me onto another thing that's felt right. And it's just like there is no right or wrong. I mean, there's no wrong path, because I feel like eventually you still end up going the way you're meant to go on your purpose, and there's no time frame on it, right?
Yeah. And I
Absolutely
think
no
that's the
time.
biggest thing, is that we do put a time frame on things.
Yeah.
Like it's still this whole condition of like, I'm by this age, by the time I'm 30, I need to own a house and be married, and we put all this pressure on ourselves. And I know that I felt that way when I got engaged, and put all this pressure on myself to be like, right, like we planned a wedding in 6 months because I was like,
Really?
yeah, oh, do not recommend it.
A little bit of stress.
But just a little bit. Um, but I put so much pressure on myself to be like, right, because I want to start a family and I want to get married before, I mean, you don't have to, but I wanted to get married before starting a family because I was like, otherwise, I'm probably not going to get married and they'll just get pushed down the track.
Yeah.
Um, and so I put so much pressure on myself to be like, because, I'm getting close to 30, I want to
Yeah,
be
what is it
married.
30? Like 30 is like this thing where I was like, oh my God, I'm turning 30. And I didn't dread turning 30, but it almost like pushes you into this panic mode of I need to achieve all these things that I want to achieve, especially if you want to have a family, and get married and that sort of thing. 30 seems like this like real massive goal post, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Is it of this whole thing of like, because you're young and once you hit 30, you're not young anymore, which is a load of bullshit. Um, and yeah, we put so much pressure on ourselves and we put these timelines, and it's not even just with like age as well. It's like, I don't know if you've experienced this with having your own business, but like being like, okay, putting time frames on how long or we want to like our business to be at a certain place by a
Yeah.
certain time, or
Yeah.
we want our life to look a certain way by a certain time. And I think this is where it's the whole like we're kidding ourselves. We think that we're going against the grain and we're finding our path and all that kind of stuff, right? Because we're like, I've got my own business. I'm doing
Yeah.
something different to other people. I'm following my path and my purpose. But at the same time, we're still stuck in that masculinity
Trying to
of
control it all
yeah.
without leaving the room for like magical things to happen. Like if you're just in that, and I know I'm very, very guilty of being driven. I guess when you're driven, like you and I are driven people, and you're like, right, set myself goals, achieve, but yeah, it's there's nothing wrong with having goals and trying to achieve them, but you just got to leave room for the magic to happen. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
What I've experienced anyway, when I leave room for the magic and I don't try and control it or push it in a certain way, then I leave this room for these unexpected things to take me on my path.
I feel like that is the golden nugget right there, is the
Yeah.
control.
Yes.
Like us feeling like we just have to, and I know it's a safety mechanism, right? It's the way that we cope, because when we are in control, that's when we feel safe.
Yeah.
um but I was even, because I did an energy healing on a friend the other day, and she's got her own business and things
Yeah.
just aren't, her business isn't where she wanted it to be at this point right now.
Yeah.
And she had this real epiphany that um because she's taken a step back from the business, and she's had this epiphany that she's like, oh, I didn't realize how much the business took up her life
Right.
and how much it was controlling her life.
Yeah.
And she was like, but that's not why I started this business in the first place. Like I started it so that I could have more freedom and I could, do
Yeah.
all of these different things and spend more time with my family. But I would be going out with my family and be like, oh no, I have to be home by a certain time because I've got to do content, or I've got to do this, I've got to do that.
Yeah.
And she's ended up in burnout. And I feel like this is such a common thing that
Yeah.
happens for us when we are driven and we have these goals, and we see the path of where we're going is like we just like put full gear ahead and we're like hustle, 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 hustle,
Yeah.
and we end up in burnout, and then we start questioning everything again.
It's this vicious cycle. We're going in the hamster wheel, round and round. Yeah, it's like I feel like I have to constantly pull myself into check and balance everything. And I'm sort of still, I'll be honest, I'm not really feeling balanced at the moment, having taken on uni, you know, as well as running my business, as well as podcast, content creation. And I think I'm having about a day a week off at the moment. I'm trying to have a whole day. And I realized this morning before this, I was like, I'm going to do something for me before the podcast. I'm going to do some grounding work. And I did a yoga practice. And I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. Like, I don't know about you, but I automatically put the self-care last.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally it. And it's so funny because when you really think about it, it's that self-care that actually helps us find our path.
Yes, because you're connecting with self, you're blocking out the monkey mind that's just trying to achieve, and you're able to get insight or just peace, and yeah, and things seem to flow better.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
otherwise I feel like we're just pushing and
Yeah.
pushing and pushing and pushing. And pushing is not when things happen. It's when we surrender and we really come back to ourselves and trust ourselves and intuition and look after ourselves and trust that, you know, we're on the right path and we're doing the right thing. And I feel like we need to do a podcast about intuition.
Yeah, probably.
Um, yeah, and it is. I feel like it's this pull, like tug and pull. I don't know if that's the right word or explanation for it, but I feel like at the beginning, and well, not even at the beginning, it's just like our whole life, right? But we're just kind of, we can fall back into old patterns, we can fall back into things because you know, what everybody else is doing, or old patterns and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think the most important thing is like coming back to yourself, like coming
Yeah.
home to yourself.
And not getting caught up in the grind. And like I'll sit because I quite often I love to like my if I don't have a lot of time for myself, I'll just do like a oracle card pull.
Mm.
That's my thing to just sit there, which is really not me intuitively going inwards. It's me like seeking things from the cards to give me answers because I just want this quick fix in the moment when I have maybe 5 minutes in the day. But they do help me because the cards will actually say a lot of the time that I need to just rest, and it's like telling me to rest, pull back, stop being busy. Like I'll just whatever the deck is, it's relevant to what I need at the time. So yeah, that helps me just get refocus a bit and go, okay, fine, I will do that.
Hmm. What else have you done to like, I guess like when you were on your path of finding your journey or finding your journey, finding the right path for you, like what kind of things stand out for you to be like, okay, well, this is a turning point for me, or this has really helped me to stay on track or to realign.
I went through a phase where I was meditating every day. I tried to do 20 minutes, and it was when I was doing weekly yoga. And my teacher really recommended that I meditate every day for 20 minutes because I am so uh, in my head a lot. And I've just been told that that's my biggest block of intuition sometimes. Even though I am intuitive, I get a lot of insight in my sleep because that's part of my brain switches off. But I can get it if I'm in that state more regularly and that flow state. So I would say that has been really good, and just incorporating movement of the body. Like I need to move to get out of my head as well. Um, and it doesn't have to be a full-on workout, yoga, or just a walk. I walk every morning. That sort of helps start me for the day. But yeah, just I do struggle with waking up early if I'm thinking as well or I'm busy. So I'll wake up at like 4 a.m. It's quite common for me.
Common thing. I get a text message from Rachel being like, so I woke up at 4 a.m. again, and this is what I've done.
Or three or four. Yeah, 3 or 4 a.m. is my, I know I'm pushing it too hard. So, and I'm usually trying to get message, like it's, yeah, that's my telltale sign.
Hmm.
And everyone thinks I'm crazy because I do all my messaging at that time, or like I should actually be meditating then. But yeah. So I need to get back into that. That's something I really need to incorporate,
Hmm.
and that's worked for me. What about you?
Um, Going back to what makes me feel wholesome and what brings me joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've really had this realization. It was actually at the tail end of us living in Melbourne that I had this big kind of blow up, and it was kind of like an identity shift as well, or even like an ego death type thing because there was, we were pregnant and, well, I'm still pregnant. Um, and like I had taken a step back in my business just to, you know, because I just found it too much and I was burnt out, stuck in the whole hamster wheel type thing. And we were stressing about money. And because I was like, well, I don't want to go work a full-time job after maternity leave. Like, I don't want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
we have this type of life that we want to create and would love to homeschool. And um, the last thing I want to do is go back to work full time.
Yeah.
And so I put all this pressure on myself to like do all this stuff with my business. And then I was stressing because I was like, I have to make this amount of money a month from my business and all that kind of stuff. And then um, it was making me so stressed and so anxious. And at the same time, we had these assets that we had invested in a while ago. And I just remember having this conversation with my business coach, being like, these are all of our expenses because of our assets that we had. And this is how much money I need to make. And I was like, part of me is feeling like I should sell my apartment, but I have so much fear around it because I feel like then I'm going backwards when it comes to success. And
Yeah.
it was in that moment that she said, success looks different for every single person. And who's to say that you're going backwards? She said, you selling this property is
Yeah.
going to give you the freedom to have the life that you want to have. And
Yeah.
um and who's to say that, in a couple of years' time, I'm making all this money in my business and we can afford to buy another property. So she's like, you're never going backwards.
I
And
love
it
that
was,
reframe that she did. That reframe is
yeah,
so cool. Like giving you possibility, like it's not the end of the road. Like, because yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of that. I'd be the same. I'd be like, that's gonna go, and I don't know if I'll ever get back into it. But then it's putting a limit on ourselves, isn't it? It's like, oh, well, that was the only chance. When hey, there's all these possibilities that could happen in the future.
literally. And that was such a huge turning point for me because I just had such an attachment to this property because I was like, this was my first property that I bought.
Yeah.
I bought it by myself. Like it was just like such a big thing for me. And to then let it go, it was like letting go a part of me or a piece of me. And um because I've actually been drummed into is that, like, because I worked in marketing in real estate as well, right? So,
Did
you know,
you?
yeah, yeah.
I
So
worked in real estate.
you worked in real estate.
I used to work in real estate.
There you go.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so I worked in real estate as a marketing manager. And so we would teach people how to build a portfolio. And so that was drummed into me as well. It's like, build a portfolio. That's how you build wealth. That's what success is. And here I am thinking, oh, I've got my own business. I'm feminine, I've broken away from those things. But in reality, I still had that programming in the back of my mind of what success looks like, what wealth looks like, what happiness looks
Yeah.
like. And I'd put so much pressure on myself and I was so anxious and I wasn't happy. We weren't happy. We were like stressing about money.
Yeah.
And it was like the moment that I made that decision to sell the property and I called my real estate agent and like started getting an appraisal and everything, it was like a whole weight lifted off my shoulders. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my lordy, I have been kidding myself.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I was like, I don't want anything to make me feel like that. Like, I want to live a life of wholesomeness and joy.
Yeah.
And so that has really helped me to pull back in when I'm, I guess, like pushing too hard or too in the masculine, has been like, okay, well, what actually brings me joy today? What makes me feel wholesome? Is it going to my veggie garden? Is it like, I don't know,
Mm.
doing those little things? So that's what's really helping me to realign
Yeah.
and and actually find the path that I want to go on, because it was like that was a huge surrender for me to be like, okay, it's
Yeah.
time to let this go.
Do you know who reminds me, who's a constant reminder for me to find joy, is our acupuncturist. She
Mm,
says to me all the time, do what brings you joy. And it's just simple to say that. But it is so helpful. And when she said that to me, I would go, and I have this thing I've done since I was a teenager. And I just chuck on my headphones, my music, and I dance around the house. That is what brings me joy. I love dancing and I dance around like an idiot and I can do it for an hour until I'm sweating. And it makes me so happy. Like I feel confident. I feel like I'm moving everything out that's like been stuck. But just music, really has been my go-to. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
We overthink it. We absolutely
yeah.
overthink it to be like, oh, finding my path and my purpose. Like, I have to have a strategy, or I have to do this, have to do that. But it's so simple.
Yeah.
Like,
Do
we
you feel,
just need to.
I have a question. It just popped into my head. Do you think that, do you feel a lot of people want to leave a legacy or their stamp on the world and that that's what drives them?
I feel like that absolutely.
Yeah.
But is it what they truly desire? I don't know.
Or is it what they feel they should accomplish?
Yeah. I feel
Because
like,
it's like, is it because we watch people that inspire us and we feel like their success should be our success? Like, there's so much you can dive into, really.
yeah. And I think it's really individual as well.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to get caught up again with what other people are doing and being like, "Oh yeah, like having a legacy, that's my thing." But is it really?
Yeah.
Because something that I used to steer away from was having a mediocre life. Like, I wanted the adventure and the excitement and to
Yeah.
speak on the big stages, and I don't know, maybe I'll do that down the track anyway, but
We love
I
talking
wanted
so much.
this.
So I
Yeah.
feel like it's part of our path, talking.
But having this big glamorous life because I didn't want to be mediocre. But what I've actually realized, and this is actually in my gene keys as well, which is kind of a little bit like human as I am.
I was like, what's gene keys? This is a new thing
It's
I've never
just
heard of.
it's just another rabbit hole for you to go down.
Okay.
Um, and mediocrity is actually in my gene keys, and it's when I try to push away from mediocrity that things actually aren't an alignment for me. And it's like, what does mediocrity even mean? And for so long, I was doing things because I was trying to avoid something
Yeah.
instead of doing it because I love it. And I feel like that's the roller coaster that we go on when we try and find our journey or find our purpose and our path, is we can still get caught up in thinking that this is the right thing for us, but maybe it's not. And that's where it's like coming back home to yourself and doing what brings you joy, doing what makes you feel wholesome and makes you like truly happy, not what you think
Yeah.
should make you happy,
Yeah.
is what really helps you find your purpose and your path. And it doesn't matter what that looks like, because I feel like your purpose could be being an incredible mother
Yeah.
and not mediocre at all, because that's like, I feel, one of the most important jobs ever. So it doesn't need to be some big fancy thing.
And I want to say a couple of things that I know I used to do and how I used to feel as a younger person. It's definitely shifted now. But I remember it's probably a bit morbid saying this, but I'd go to funerals. I've only been to a few, and it would be like a friend, family member, or what have you, and they would tell their life story. And I remember sitting there as a young person, just thinking, oh, they didn't really do much with their life, and just going, I want more for myself, and like just that driven side going, I really wanted to do something big. I just wasn't satisfied by hearing like just your average sort of family person that was like a husband or wife and mother and father. Like I would just be like, oh, that's pretty basic. And I remember my mum was a stay-at-home mum, and she put everything into us. And when I was younger, I was like, I never want to be a stay-at-home mum. I want to be a career woman. I want to do all these things. And I honestly now, wanting to be a mother, I look at my mum and I have so much admiration and love for her for being a stay-at-home mum. And I think that she just devoted her whole life to us, and she never lived her life for her. Like she was always just when we were sick, she was there. She was making us soup. She was doing everything from scratch. She was like picking us up from school, dropping us off. She was always there. I never had to worry about like going to before or after school care or childcare, or like it was just my mum was there, and that was amazing. And I look at her now in her later in life. She's just retired this year, and she did work like because she had 3 kids. So as you know, expenses came and went down the track and what have you, she did do a bit of part-time work, but she even sacrificed her work in the sense that she worked night shifts. So she was there for my younger siblings and like, yeah, put a lot on her body, and she just really made us a priority. And it makes me now look at look at my mom and other people who really just want a simple life of connection with their chosen partner and kids. And I think the society we live in now is so crazy busy, and we all need to make money to survive. And a lot of people don't have the luxury of, being at home with their kids. So that just reinforces how grateful I am and how I do appreciate that simple life, and that I can see why someone would love that, just to be at home with their kids, because they're the people you choose, right? They're the people you want to be with, and you feel whole with and have joy. Sometimes working isn't or is just a means to an end.
Yeah. But it's also having that balance of, yes, like being home with your kids and also doing something for you, whatever that is, right? Whether
Yeah,
it's
I do feel like that.
going to like a dance class or
Yeah,
like growing a veggie garden or whatever it is,
yeah,
um, it's definitely that balance of like, you, even
definitely.
as like a stay-at-home mum, you can like go so far where you don't put yourself first at all.
Yes.
And I personally have this belief that I come first,
Yeah,
because if I'm not joyful, if I'm not happy, if I'm not regulated, if I'm not healthy, then I can't be the best mother that I can be.
yeah,
And obviously, like, it's not in a selfish sense of like, oh no, my child is going to go without because I want this thing. No, it's not about that at all. It's like, okay, I'm going to go and have a weekend away with my friends, or go and do a class once a week, or have my own thing, or
yeah,
whatever it is, right? Because that's what fuels me, that's what makes me joyful, that's what
yeah,
regulates me. And then I am then the ripple effect for my child who is literally feeding off my energy and mirroring me. So they can pick up when I'm not happy, when I'm not regulated, and they're going to feel that too. So I know that I can give them a better life if I'm looking
Taking
after
care of
myself.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it teaches them self-care too. And I agree, you've got to have that balance. My mum was such a giving person, and I would have loved to see her give more to herself. And I think that's a lesson I learned is I'm still learning because self-care is a balancing act when you've got a busy life. But yeah, it's super important. And also making time for your husband or partner, you
Mm,
know.
that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, finding your life purpose isn't a linear process. It's an evolving story that unfolds throughout your whole life, and it'll potentially change. And as long as you're following your what lights you up and makes you joyful, is that's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's that what actually makes you happy and joyful because yeah, we can just end up in so much burnout when we're trying to find a path or
And I
whatever will
think
lead to our purpose.
I've met so many people that make choices on the I should be doing this,
Mm,
I should be doing that. And it's like, is it what you want to do though? Is it what makes you happy? What's the should? Is that like a societal expectation? Is that yeah, I just feel like they're the people that aren't listening to their inner voice.
well, I think that's a really good tip though, because I mean, even that alone, like starting to listen to the language that we're using, and if we're using should instead of I want to or I get to,
Yeah.
like that's just a little flag right there to be like,
Yeah.
okay, what's going on? And even just like, I guess checking in with yourself and be like, how am I actually feeling right now? Like,
Yeah.
do I feel peaceful? Do I feel joyful? Or do I feel burnt out and frustrated? Because if
Yeah.
that's the case, then there's something out of alignment there. And um, it it's an invitation to check in and be like, okay, something's not right because purpose and path shouldn't feel like that. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to feel like that. And life isn't supposed to feel like that. I mean, obviously, we go through stages like everything. It's not just sunshine and rainbows every single day.
No.
But if the majority of the time that's how you're feeling, then like, that's where it's really checking in with yourself and being like, am I actually doing this for me or am I doing this for somebody else or society's expectations or whatever it is?
Yeah. Very, very cool message there.
Well, lovely ladies, we will. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of the Reconnected podcast.
Yeah. We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.